Welcome to the podcast about venture capital, where investors and founders alike can learn how VCs make decisions and reach conviction. Your host is Nick Moran, and this is The Full Ratchet.
Welcome back to TFR for a special installment of Investor Stories. In this segment, the investors tell a story about some of the most odd and unusual situations they've ever encountered as investors. This is the segment called The Strange and Unusual. On today's special segment, we have Ryan Falvey of Financial Ventures Studio. Ryan, what's the strangest, most unusual, or most memorable startup pitch you've received?
I had one. We're on audio here, so you can't see it, but apparently I get a really mean face on when I'm like hearing pitches I don't like. And also when I'm like engaged and listening, like people tell me I look really intense and mean is the word they use.
Interesting. Really?
Yeah.
You smile a lot, but maybe when you're judging, not so much.
Maybe I guess I got a very judgy face apparently. And I had one call. It was before pandemic, and for whatever reason we were on Zoom, and both me and my business partner Tyler were on it. So we were kind of sitting next to each other in the window frame, and it was just such a horrible business idea. I mean, I can't even remember what it was, but it was so bad, and I just had to drift out of the picture. Like it's kind of drifted off to the side.
So
terrible. So then my like anger and frustration wouldn't boil over. I was like getting red. I don't even know what it was. It was probably some P2P payments thing. You see a lot. Those are always the worst. We're going to do Venmo for X. It's like, that's not going to work.
Well, and you've got you and your partner there. So it's an expensive meeting at that point.
Yeah, it was early on. We were still pretty cheap. Learned our lessons.
On this special segment, we have Manan Mehta of Unshackled Ventures. Manan, what's the strangest, most unusual, or most memorable pitch you've received?
Oh man, the strangest was when they showed up in our office without telling us they're coming. Saying,
I literally just got a call before this from a startup. I'm like, how did you get my number? I mean, they didn't show up to my office, but
oh man, this is pre-pandemic, and it was very clear this was going to be a Zoom or a phone call. And before we know, like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm like, ooh, I can't turn this thing down now. This is very awkward. And we had a bunch of founders working in there. We have a conference room. And so it was probably, one of the most unsettling experiences because you had to change your whole perspective and your approach. Not so much from the perspective that the questions you ask, but your mental preparation was very different than what you got. And so
so not weird. Recommending that to founders, right?
Yeah, show up where you're expected to be. Goes with us too, right? Don't show up at a founder's office and say, hi, I'm here, just checking in. That's not what they're looking for from their investor.
No. On today's special segment, we have Annie Kadavy, Managing Director at Redpoint Ventures. Annie, what is the strangest, most unusual, or most memorable startup pitch you've received?
Many years ago, I saw a company that was for RFID paired socks. So like literally you would buy...
Never lose the matching mate?
Exactly. Yeah, and you're kind of like, tell me how big of a problem this is for people. And it's like, well, everybody wears socks. And every time you wash your socks, they wear differently. And so don't you want your socks to have the same amount of wear and tear so that your feet feel the same and you always know which sock matches with the other? And anyway, it just, for so many reasons, still makes me laugh thinking about it. I don't know what happened to that company, but the idea of like washing my socks with RFID tags and then pulling my phone out to like scan every sock to find its mate was just a funny thing I still think about when I do my laundry.
There's got to be a better way.
Yeah, like just
maybe just a tiny little number on each or something.
Oh my gosh, or colors. Like, yeah, there's a lot of other solutions that are not RFID socks.
That will conclude this installment of Investor Stories. If you're enjoying the program and would like to see it continue, take a moment and leave a 5-star review in iTunes. Also, if you'd like updates on new content from TFR, as well as the top 10 VC articles every week, go to fullratchet.net and sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that will wrap things up for today. Until next time, over-prepare, choose carefully, and invest confidently. Thanks for joining me.